Yeah.
Yeah.
So right now, what are you working on in the gym? Or I guess not even in the gym, just in general, to try to make yourself a better.
Right now, probably, honestly, not even like anything like really physical. It's my mental game. I'm trying to
Interesting.
work on my mental game a lot this off season. One thing I tried at junior national team camp, I was talking with one of my coaches, Cole Armstrong. He played like AAA. And I talked with Coach Deuce. I played for the Jays. And we were talking about, how my approach at the plate. And I could tell my approach at the plate, and then he was like, okay, but what do you think when you get to play? Are you thinking about your approach? And I'm like, oh my God, no.
Sorry, what do you mean by approach at the plate? What does
So
that
like
mean?
you have to have an approach. If you don't have the first thing when you of hitting is you need an approach.
But what is?
So when you're on deck, my approach on deck is like I'm watching the pitcher, watching where his release is, watching what he throws the batters. So like even like I usually hit like 3 or 4 in the lineup. 3 to 6 is usually where I hit. So I'm watching the players before me. He starts off a lefty with a changeup. When we go through one time through the order, I've seen every pitch that he has, and every lefty that he's faced, he's thrown a changeup or he's starting with a fastball or whatever. So I know that in the back of my mind what he likes to throw in these counts and what he's going to start me off with. So I have that approach right there, and then I look for pitches. So like, my pitch is middle in, so I look for a fastball middle in every pitch, and then like every strike I get, I expand the zone. So I split the plate up into 6 zones. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and I look 1, 2, 3, and if he throws it there, I'm locked in and I'm swinging. If he throws it 4, 5, 6, good on you. Tip my cap, good on you, good pitch. And then when he gets a strike, then I'll expand. So I'll look for a pitch from like 1 to 5. Or like I'll look for and then
Meaning 1 to 5 is like where in the strike zone?
Yeah, I'll look for pitch 1 to 5.
Like the square on the TV. So you're putting squares within that square.
Yeah.
Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I'll look for like something I can drive. Or if it's like a changeup count, I don't really like to sit on off speed, especially now where I'm facing like 95. So like if I'm sitting a changeup or a curveball and he throws 95 above my belt,
no chance.
You're not hitting it.
So when you say approach, you just mean game plan.
Like a game plan.
Okay,
yeah.
okay,
exactly
okay,
right.
okay.
Yeah.
I got you.
Yeah, so
interesting.
It's really, my approach is really in deep. But I kind of I would get in the box and I'd be thinking, oh my, like where are my hands, like where everything's at.
Yeah.
So then I had to start thinking like, and I literally would just like get in the box, I stare at the pitcher and I'd be like, you're not beating me. I look in his eyes, I'm like, you're not beating me. So that would kind of keep my mindset is like I'm not losing this battle, like I'm winning. And if I lost it, so what? Then next time I get up, I'm not beating. I would say some other things to him as well.
Like you're mouthing it to him, or you're saying it to him.
I'm like saying it. Like
you're
you're
not beat.
I'm like, F you, you're
You're
not
a
beating me.
pussy.
That's what I look him right in the eyes. I look him right in the eyes and I'd say that, and it worked.
But there's a lot of stuff like that in ball. It's like a mental game.
I
Like
love
sometimes
that.
you lock eyes with the pitcher, and it's kind of like, okay, like now I'm in there with him, right?
It's a
like,
battle between me and you, and you're not beating me. It's like when I thought on junior national team, I kind of had a bad camp, my first camp, because I would just keep getting so unlucky. I think I hit the warning track like 7 times. And I was getting so unlucky, and I was getting all this, and then I get down on myself, and that's the worst thing you can possibly do because I was having good swings. They just weren't getting the results. So I kind of tried to stay away from caring so much about the results and caring more about, was that a quality at bat? Like, did I swing at good pitches? Did I win the battle? One thing that Barry Bonds said that really made sense to me was every pitch is like how he stayed locked in for so long. Every pitch is a battle. So if he got first pitch ball, okay, I won, so I'm up 1-0. And then the next pitch, he fouled off, had a good swing. He's up. Okay, 2-0. I got that. But then he swings and misses. Okay, 2-1. But every at bat he tried to win, and if he won that at bat, that's a good at bat. So even if he struck out, but he won like the at bat like 3-2, he won that at bat. That's a quality at bat.
because you got to roll with the things that are help. Like baseball's so hard, man, and I don't care what anybody says. It's so hard. If you think about the science behind it, the little ball, the little bat, whatever. But I like that you said that the battle because, yeah, you hit the warning track all the time and you may get chirped and stuff, warning track power, that kind of stuff. But what was leading you to get there? And, like, you got to roll with the things in baseball when there's so much going on and there's so many scenarios and there's so much, like, guy on second, guy on third, what are we doing? Like, you got to roll with what's working for you. And eventually, like, you see guys, like for Tibby, for example, when we play at one point in the season, he was just absolutely roping baseballs, but they were just going right to guys. Like like that, like
Yep.
that, and you're thinking, man, is he gonna snap? Like, and he just doesn't, right? Because he's had that experience of coming up through the ranks, and he just kept rolling with it because he's hitting the ball square, he's hitting the ball hard. It's not finding holes, but eventually it will, and then eventually they start leaving the yard, right? So you roll with what's working for you. It's no different than any other sport. You're not going to be a fourth line hockey player and you hitting out there every shift is really sparking the boys. You're not just going to stop doing that because you're not scoring now. You know what I mean? So I've never actually heard someone break the at bat down
That's really cool.
to the point of like, okay, you're up one pitch, now we're tied. Now you're up two pitches. Okay, you won that battle, but I won this. You know what I mean? That's crazy, and I think that's the difference probably why I suck and you don't. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, well, like you're saying, like you can't care about results. Like if you're focused on results, you're kind of screwed. But yeah, I'm really in deep with like how people control at bats. Like I watched, like when I went, we were at training camp and I went and watched one of my favorite players. Both you dudes, you might know him, but his name's Yohan Moncada, third baseman for the White Sox. Now he's not a big name guy. He'll hit like 260, but if you look at his on base percentage, it's like 400. Right,
Which is good, Belly.
so which is
I
good,
know that.
which is really good. And what I did was, that's why I like him so much, the way he controls his at bat. So I went and watched White Sox Blue Jays during one of our training camps in Ontario, in like August, and I watched him, and I seen every single time he had 4 hits in the game. Every single time was in a hitter's count, and 2 of them were on the first pitch. So I'm like, okay, so this guy has a game plan going into the game, and I'm watching him, and he's ready. He knows what he's getting. The first 2 pitches he had bats, he got a hit off were fastballs, and then he got deeper into the count, and it was a 2-1 hitter's count, and he got a curveball, and he sat on it and laced it into right field. I'm like, wow, like. I like watching like the game within the game. Like
Yeah.
I like watching like
That's what this podcast is about.
Like,
Game within the game.
yeah, I don't know, and that really stood out to me. Like people like just regular watchers of baseball, they don't really pick up on that. And I tried to watch like how he controlled the at bat, like what he was doing, like what he was doing within the at bat, and how he would get the hit every time. And I'm like, how do big league hitters like consistently get hits?
yeah.
And it's like, because they do the same thing over and over again, they trust the process, and they always get in themselves into a good hitter's count. Now, good hitter's counts are like 0-0, 1-0, 2-1, 3-1.
2-0.
2-0, yeah.
That's the big one.
That's the big one.
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
I missed that one.
Why is 2-0 the big one?
Because you know you're getting a fastball, probably.